Sadhguru, we are feeling extremely grateful and blessed that we are sitting next to your company and under the shadow of the gorgeous face of Adi Yogi. But what is the...
Isn't he wonderful?
Yes, it is. There is a moon, there is a snake, but what does Adi Yogi represent? What does that moon on his head and snake around his neck represent?
As you know, Adi Yogi means the first yogi. How does someone become a yogi? You are sitting here, when you sit here, you think you're a world by yourself. But you're sitting in the middle of an endless cosmos, literally. You don't know where it begins, where it ends. In that, a speck of a solar system is going on, in that a tiny little planet spinning, and here we are sitting and talking. So obviously, without the cooperation of a million forces, which are keeping you and me on the chair right now, if the planet spins a little faster,
Yes.
both of us will fly off, okay? So there are so many things which are making us happen, which most people are unconscious of. If you close your mouth and hold your nose for 2 minutes, you know that you are not all integrated, you have to be in touch with the atmosphere around you. This is not just about breath, every particle in this body is like this. This is a living cosmos, you're just a bubble in that. But there is no such experience because creation is magnanimous enough to give you a sense of individuality. But if you do not realize the cosmic nature of who you are, your individuality will suffocate you and kill you within yourself. Doesn't matter what you do, you will be incomplete and insufficient in your own experience, forget about other people. So yoga or becoming a yogi means your perception has risen to a point where you distinctly experience that you're a part of everything, not as an idea, not as a thought, not something that you believe in, it's a living experience. See, right now, this very body, it's just the food that you've eaten, right? What was soil became food, what was food became flesh and bone. If you don't get it, one day you will get it when you're buried. So, this process that everything is becoming you and you are a part of everything, if it came into your living experience, the very way you think, feel, understand and perceive life is complete change, everything. Right now, all your struggles are just this, you versus rest of the universe. It's a losing fight. You're not a competition for creation. So if you experience yourself in your cosmic nature, which is the reality of existence, then we say you're a yogi. That means you have experienced the union of life. So the snake is a symbolism of that because a cobra is known to have an extrasensory perception. It is drawn to certain things. You will see if a cobra comes, I will just go and pick him up like this, not by the head, not treating him like a poisonous, venomous creature. Just like that I'll pick him up, he'll simply come in my hands. Because he's so sensitive, he knows who is who, what is the nature of your existence. He just reads your chemistry just like that. So because cobra is a symbolism for heightened level of perception, it is shown around Adi Yogi's neck. It might have hung around him also, been drawn to it because this used to happen to me. When I sat for long hours in meditation in the forest, when I opened my eyes after 4-5 hours, there would be a dozen snakes just all there by themselves. Moon is called as Soma. Soma means intoxication. Today, I'm sure if not you, all your colleagues, or evening they must be intoxicated, otherwise they can't take the pressure of life. We understood this long time ago. So, all yogis are intoxicated. That's why there's no pressure of life, 7 days of the week, 20 hours a day, there's no pressure, because fully intoxicated but aware. No outside substances, just within the system itself. If I gave you a way where you're fully intoxicated all the time, 24 hours, and fully aware, and no hangover, doesn't cost anything. Are you interested?
Yes.
That's what this is about.
Sadhguru, if Adiyogi is not a religion, if it is not a system, if it is not a principle, how can one adopt it?
This 112 feet is to symbolically represent the 112 methods that he gave. He propounded a science as to what is the nature of human mechanism and its relationship with the cosmic mechanism. But science is of no use to people, except for those who want to know. It's only technology. Today people think they are scientific if they know how to use iPhone. Okay? This is a piece of technology. So because there is an offshoot of technology, people are appreciating science. Otherwise, suppose science did not produce any technology, nobody would be interested in science, at least most people. A few people who really want to know what is the nature of things, they would be. But most of the population would have nothing to do with science, nobody would fund it, nobody would sponsor it, nothing would happen.
Yeah.
Yes? Only because of offshoot of technology. So he came up with 112 methods, technologies for well-being. Immediate well-being of a human being and ultimate well-being of a human being. 112 ways. So to honor that and to symbolize that is why 112 feet tall. So he did not teach you a philosophy, nor a teaching, nor an ideology, nor a belief system. A science and a technology. Why I'm insisting technology is, the nature of technology is such, you don't have to believe it, you don't have to carry it on your head, you just have to learn to use it.
So in today's world where everybody is looking for instant gratification, from Netflix to shopping on Amazon instantly, instant gratification is everyone is looking at.
Oh, it takes a lot of time to search.
So what is this technology of well-being? How would you like to decode it?
There are many ways to look at it. The simplest way, I would say, is today, biomedical science, you know that every human experience, what you call as health, is a certain kind of chemistry. If you have ill health, what do? You pop pills. What is it? You're putting chemicals to do some balancing act. So health is one kind of chemistry, peace is another kind of chemistry, joy is another kind of chemistry, blissfulness another kind of chemistry, ecstasy another kind of chemistry, agony another kind of chemistry, misery another kind of chemistry, stress, anxiety, madness, you name it. Every human experience has a chemical basis to it. When you have the fear of suffering, you will never walk full stride. Every step is only half a step in your life. You will never ever walk full stride. This is what has happened to humanity. They think earning a living is the ultimate goal of their stupid life. A worm, an insect, a bird, an animal, everybody can do it. With such a big brain, earning a living is such a big problem. But most people spend their entire life just on survival. All they do is eat, sleep, reproduce and die one day. I'm not trying to say this in a derogatory way. All I'm saying is, a human being is capable of many more explorations of life.
Sadhguru, in corporate world, the words which we use are target, profits, reaching goals. Managers, they tell the subordinates, you should have fire in your belly. Now, why is corporate India or the corporates around the world so insisting on reaching targets and achievements?
See, benchmarks are there in every aspect of life. Otherwise you don't know whether you're going forward or backward. Nothing wrong with fire in the belly, otherwise how do you digest? Okay? We have, in yoga, what you're saying fire in the belly, we call it Jataragni. There is Bhutagni, elemental fire, there is Chittagni. You must have all the fires. Just fire in the belly means you will just eat, reproduce and die. You must have fire on all levels. Life must be fully fired up, that's all I'm saying. Right now, people are only fired up in a minimal way, in one dimension, and they think that's everything. See, corporation means just this, because many people are accusing me, you're becoming corporate. I ask them, what's your idea of being corporate? It means a simple activity became enhanced So you had to organize it for efficient function. Are you against efficiency? It looks like most people are. Yes, they are. Because first thing, they can't manage themselves efficiently. See, if you manage yourself efficiently, to be joyful would be natural, isn't it? Let me put it very simple. If you're well managed, you're healthy and joyful. If you're ill managed, you're not healthy and you're not joyful, isn't it? So similarly, in the life of a business or a company or a nation, it must be well managed. Well managed means it must produce results. Results means in a business, naturally profit, nothing wrong with that. But now, you're forgetting what is the fundamental purpose of the business. The fundamental purpose of the business is human well-being. Whether you manufacture a soap or a safety pin or a spacecraft, ultimately the goal is human well-being, isn't it? But after 150 years of serious exploration of science and technology, don't you realize that with all these things, you will only get comfort and convenience, well-being will not come. We are ripping the planet apart because we're in search of well-being. We're not feeling well if you sit here. If you're joyful and well by your own nature, now you would do what is most needed. Now you're doing a lot of things that you don't need, simply because you are in pursuit of your happiness.
Sadhguru, the current generation is a blessed generation, both in terms of per capita income, food, no big wars are happening. How come the happiness quotient is at a record low? Nobody around me is happy.
See, every generation, for whatever they know best at that time, everything is great for some people. But some people go through horrors. Yes, definitely wars and those kind of strife kind of situations are a different thing, it'll suck everybody into it. But that's not happening all the time. Unfortunately, a lot of those situations have happened in the world, but that's not happening all the time everywhere. It happens sometime in some places. Leave those extreme situations. Those things we have to fix in the world, that those things don't happen. Somebody has serious ill health, leave that also, because they have a good excuse to be unhappy. But I'm telling you, there are more people on the planet who are healthy and unhappy. Your own mind, for example. Your mind, intellect, would you like it sharp or blunt?
Sure.
Make a quick choice.
Yeah.
Sharp. So once you have a sharp instrument, you must also know how to hold it. If you hold it the wrong way, it'll hurt. Tell me, has anybody hurt you as much as your own mind hurts you?
No.
All your suffering is entirely mental, isn't it? So the problem is just this, you've been given a sharp instrument and you don't know how to hold it.
Sadhguru, let's talk about leadership. In the past, you've mentioned that we've had religious leaders, we've had business leaders, and the way world is moving now, a businessman is the most powerful man on this earth. US President John Trump was a businessman. So what does that indicate which way world is moving?
I've been saying this for last 20 years. You just watch it in the next 10–15 years, economic and business leadership will be the most prominent, but well, I didn't think Trump will become the president, but even otherwise, even if you don't become a president, the businesses today largely decide where a nation will go. The success of a nation is no more dependent upon its military success or its political success. It is dependent on its business success. How successful the businesses in a nation are, that's how successful a nation is. So definitely economic activity is going to take the forefront in the coming decades. So business leaders have to gear up for this, because right now they are wearing an albatross around their neck. Because they have this image that business leaders, as you already said, business leaders are only interested in grab and run. They're not interested in creating something. Profit is their only thing. Milk the world somehow, doesn't matter what happens to the cow. This is the image they have. But we must understand that attitude was okay when business used to be a small activity. Today, many businesses are as large as nations. When this has happened, you have to transform yourself too, because now the responsibility of creating the kind of world that we want to live in is no more fully in the hands of political leadership. It is largely moved into the hands of business leaders, so it is time business leaders rise to the occasion and take charge of this privilege.
So, what do you make of leadership in India? We have a leader who's committed to work towards changing the both culturally and also the leadership style. Finally, India seems to be moving on the right path and it has become corruption-free.
It's not become corruption-free. Around the top leader, there is no corruption. At least, which is a great thing. I'm not saying it's a small thing. But India is not yet corruption-free because corruption is in the minds of common people. It is not a politician who is corrupt, all the people are corrupt. When this black money and this demonetization, everything came, out of 1,000 people, if you and me, 2 people, have black money, this is called a crime. But 600 people out of 1,000 have black money, this is a culture.
Yes.
You're trying to change the culture. How you change culture, how you catch criminals and fix them are two different things, isn't it? How to stop crime and how to change a culture are two different dimensions. So, this is something that a whole lot of people are giving commentaries without understanding that without a certain amount of money which is not declared, you could not do any business in this country. Well, right now they're trying to change it, it's a great moment, but all of us will have to go through some amount of pain and confusion and not knowing how to do certain aspects of the business. This is the transition state that we are in. But because of technology, as the Prime Minister is continuously insisting, digitize everything, because this is a simple way of bypassing the corruption. It is not 100% solution, I don't believe that, but it could solve lot of things, lot of things.
Sadhguru, if I look at the largest industries in the world, one is arms and ammunition followed by pharma. They both are opposite ends of the spectrum. One is for destroying, other is for healing, and they both are growing.
Arms and ammunition, pharmaceuticals and alcohol are the biggest things. One just kills, another tries to kill, another pretends to get you back. That's why yoga becomes very important.
So, Sadhguru, I'm sure you'll never be a favorite with the global pharma companies because you teach yoga and inner being.
Their business is not to sell medicine, their business is to be committed to human health. They must all understand this.
Everyone is looking for shortcuts, so does Sadhguru have a shortcut for well-being?
Of course, shortest cut. Because turning inward is the shortest distance to anything, isn't it? Even if you have to walk 10 paces, you have to walk 10 paces. Turning inward, how many paces, I'm asking? It is the shortcut.
So how can one turn inward? For someone who has experienced joy, you can talk about it. For someone who's longing to experience joy, turning inward may not happen or may not come naturally.
See, anything that is not a part of basic survival will not come to you naturally. Did language come to you naturally?
No.
You learnt it, right? To write that ABC, you know how much effort it took when you were 3 years of age? Because of that striving, now you have language. Similarly, because of variety of strivings, we have variety of talents with us. Similarly, turning inward also will need little bit of striving because it is not a part of basic survival process. Anyway, you know how to eat, how to defecate, how to do these things because this is part of survival process. This comes to you physiologically. But anything beyond survival needs striving, otherwise how will it come? So in a society, to create that dimension,
a question which has puzzled me is that what is the difference between need and greed? I have a need, I have a compulsion, but I'm not greedy.
What I have is need, what you have is greed. Because it's always like that. What I want is normal need, what you want is greed. Let's not use such words. The thing is just this. We are always trying to fix things the wrong way. Can I tell you a joke?
Yes.
Joke allowed on a
Yes,
business
yes.
channel? Because you're dead serious. On a certain day, a man got very drunk and he somehow reached home, crawled up, and when he was going up, he fell on the staircase and hurt himself all over the face. So he went and looked at himself in the mirror. Face was a mess. So he opened the medicine cabinet and fixed himself up with plaster, band-aid, whatever. And he crawled into the bed and wife was fast asleep. Morning she got up and she saw that he's come and he's smelling of drink. So she screamed and threw a bucket full of cold water on him and said, "You fool, once again drinking." He said, "No, honey, 6 months ago I promised you, since then I haven't touched a drop." Then the wife grabbed him by the shirt and took him into the bathroom and showed him all the plaster was on the mirror. This is what you're trying to do.
So,
What happens from within? You're trying to fix it outside, it'll never work.
so Sadhguru, Isha Foundation started as a thought, it became your mission, and soon it will become a revolution. What do you think is your biggest achievement so far?
Oh, let me talk about the biggest failure. Because I don't think I've achieved anything. Because I never had any intention of achieving anything. When this first happened to me, I simply sat in one place and every cell in my body was dripping ecstasy. And 2-3 days of being soaked in ecstasy, I thought, this is it. I thought I've really discovered something because I had in my experience. I didn't know anybody else before me had experienced it because I had no spiritual basis of any kind, I was just living wild. So on that day I thought, I made a kind of a plan in my mind. In 2.5 years' time, I'm going to make the entire world ecstatic. Because it's so simple, if you don't mess with your mind, you're ecstatic. If you just learn how to keep your hands off your mind, if you sit here, you will see this life will overflow in exuberance. I thought, 2.5, 3 years' time is a reasonable amount of time. 35 years. We might have touched 100, 200 million people, but that is not my world. My world is 7.3 billion people. So you must ask me what is the biggest failure. This is my biggest failure.
Sadhguru, we are really blessed and eternally grateful to you that your foundation invited us over, and I sincerely hope that what started as a thought, Adiyogi, will soon become a revolution. Thank you very much.
Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/etnow and don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at etnowlive. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/user/etnow.